always bangers. One of my favorite YouTubers. Source 2 versus Source 2. We go straight in.
There are two Source 2 versions of Dust 2, which is too many to some people. There's this one that belongs to Counter-Strike 2, which isn't too dissimilar to the 2017 remake that we're familiar with today. And then there's this much earlier Source 2 prototype, which could have been made as far back as 2012? Well, it's certainly over 10 years ago. What you need to know is whatever plans for Source 2 they had back then, it didn't pan out, but these early
What the fuck is that? This is a fucking stripping area? Like, there's a little box?
screenshots live on, because one of the artists who worked on it, Roger Lundeen, showcased it in his portfolio. Here, it says why this prototype was made. I'm unsure what they mean by upping the realism. We all know that CSGO's artistic style has only become more cartoonish over time, so maybe they started out with other plans, or perhaps this is merely referring to the standard of graphical fidelity, or the map's feeling of being a lived-in place. It's a bit too vague to know for sure. But they certainly achieved this bit of the objective of moving the map out of its Iraqistan setting by choosing a more Moroccan feel instead. I found this interesting, where they said they didn't need to follow the same indoor/outdoor regions that had been set in previous versions of the map. And we can see in B tunnels they opened it up for this prototype version. They also wanted to give the bomb sites reasons for being blown up, beyond being laden with crates, I suppose. So they made A into a hotel and B into some kind
How
of
have I
safe.
never seen this before? When was this released, chat? This article? What the fuck is this?
Perhaps somebody famous was staying in the hotel.
Oha, pimpers. No shot, pimp. How you doing, bro? Miss you in Goat League, man? Wanna be our yeah, bro, they asked me if I wanna participate in Goat League. Pimp. I participated the first time in Goat League because they told me, yeah, and one of the benefits, you will get your HLTV profile. Isn't that cool? Yeah, that's fantastic. Let me join. I joined, and I don't have my HLTV profile till this day. Now they ask again. Of course I'm not joining. Pimp, that actually pissed me off. I'm not even kidding. Like, I feel like I got scammed. Yeah, Pimp just says, ha 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 ha. Bro, Pimp, they keep telling me, bro. I swear to God. They keep telling me. Yeah, and we talked to the CEO of HLTV. He said he will give you HLTV profile in a week. Bro, I come back after a week. No reply. I come back after a month. He says, yeah, he's working on it 1 month. Bro, it's been, what, half a year? No shot. Ain't no way I'm joining, bro.
Hell, and the terrorists are either trying to kill them or to blow up the stage where they were going to host an event of some kind. But the one thing this remake...
Am I being bitch about it? Bro, it was the only reason why I joined the first time. It was so annoying. Not even joining my team. Nein, I don't want to support the... Bro, nein. For good old sake. Nah, I'm sorry. If it would be anything else, yes.
wasn't meant to do was to
I have beef with them.
change the layout at all. So in the SketchUp of the map, showing a new route from T-spawn to Long A,
But I hope you win.
I presume this is the same sort of inaccessible region as is seen in other versions of Dust 2, merely there to keep the road joining the two grounded in some sort of reality. Before we go any further, I've got to cover the big presumption I'm making with this video, that these are Source 2 screenshots. Everybody online refers to them as that, and although I don't think it was ever officially said, so much evidence points towards it being Source 2 that it would be stranger if it wasn't. Roger says on LinkedIn that he was involved with Source 2's research and development. He just happens to publish screenshots of Dust 2 looking far better than how other maps at the time looked. And this was around the time when Valve was going through a stage of experimenting with their games in Source 2, Left 4 Dead in particular, screenshots of which share many similarities with this Dust 2 experiment. And you can even see Left 4 Dead characters in these images. So yeah, I'll go with these being Source 2, and we'll refer to this version of the map in this video as being the prototype or portfolio version. I've read up on this version numerous times, but it's
Bro, it looks so goofy. VIP lounge. Now I actually think that on B, it was fucking stripper poles. Like, chat, would you enjoy Dust 2 remake like this? This to me, it looks so unfitting. I don't know. It takes away the whole charm of as well, like the nostalgia Dust 2 map, you know? The map, the CSGO map. Not CSGO, the CS map. Yeah.
still a bit mysterious to me. My brain doesn't know what to file it under.
It's not Dust 2, it would be Urban 2, you know? Hell nah.
Is it still futuristic, or is it now outdated? I still can't tell. Yes, it's old as CSGO itself, yet some of the assets still seem beyond what we'd expect from a Counter-Strike map. But I suppose now that Counter-Strike is moving to Source 2 officially, this once and for all supersedes any of these older screenshots, putting them in the past for good. Remember, at the time this prototype was made, Dust 2 looked like this. You can still kind of make it out from some of the shapes of the areas in the portfolio version, even though it shares a lot more in common with the version of Dust 2 that we got in 2017. So remember, the one we've been playing on for years already came later than this prototype and was heavily influenced by it, not the other way round. So let's compare these early images with what we have now. It's just a shame these images don't have anti-aliasing. If you want to know why that feature is so important, just look at how blocky and pixelated some of these otherwise quite beautiful images look. Judging from the number of screenshots around Bombsite A, this was Roger's favourite and most finished area of the prototype. It's also the one that bears the least resemblance to the version of the map that we eventually got. It's odd that, despite claiming the gameplay wasn't to be changed, the site has been stripped of all its former crates and cover, and Short A doesn't exist as a building, merely as temporary scaffolding, stretching right across to the back wall of the site. Colour-wise, it's much darker than what we eventually got too, though it shares similar colours. It was mostly red with some white and blue, while we got mostly white with some red and blue. Or teal, or whatever you call it. I wouldn't be against the building behind A being taller and more impressive, like the one in this early Source 2 prototype. That being said, I didn't realise until now that even in the playable version, Bombsite A stands for the Aurora Hotel, or that they kept a roof terrace right up there, presumably with panoramic views. I don't know about you, but I found these interior shots of the restaurant to be the most visually striking images.
That is nice.
To see so much detail in such a small space was unheard of for Source-based maps. And of course, totally impractical for a Counter-Strike level, merely serving to slow computers down and to add nothing to the experience, and so it was understandably removed for the playable version. This is the sort of area you get when you tell artists to make a pretty level, though it does serve as an excellent showcase of all the props that could be littered across the rest of the level. So all the holes around the wall on the site, the fact this wall extends halfway across the A platform, and how you can look through Short A and into CT Spawn or from Long A straight through to B, I really don't think the gameplay of this version of the map will be similar to the one we got at all. Like, what is even going on at Short A? Is this bit I'm zooming into now all one big ramp, or is it a drop down? Or I can't even tell, not even from this overview image. Long A looks great, carrying on the scaffolding.
A side, short, down, middle. Okay.
View image. Long A looks great, carrying on the scaffolding theme with some lovely texture transitions on the ground and walls. Just as a reminder, this was the old Dust 2, back in 2012-ish. So you can see that this prototype he's made went on to heavily inspire many aspects of the 2017 remake that we eventually got, and thus the Source 2 version that we know today, with elements like the ruined building, the shape of the back wall of Long, even the passageway leading away from the playable space. It all looks very similar. I love this curved end to the wall just here. It looks menacing. You definitely wouldn't want to drive your car into this. Whereas what we finally got doesn't look so intimidating, does it? I'd definitely drive into that. Props to the scaffolding, which I think makes a lot more sense here at Long A than that strange raised platform that we eventually got instead. This platform doesn't lead anywhere, no doors or anything. And what's this streetlight for? Is it just to annoy whoever used to sleep in this bedroom here? Disclaimer, I am not a structural engineer, and my living room looks like this. So be careful.
Is that a cat?
Taking my thoughts.
Oh, he has a cat. Shisha! Why does he have two hookers in his fucking... Bro, Corona. So much Corona. Is it his? Bro, so many plants I love. So many plants. 1, 2, 3... Wow, look at this. But, bro, this fucking cat at the bottom, 100% it fucking tips over like a plant at least once a month, no? And then you have the fucking Erde, you have the thing that the plant is in, bro, all over the carpet. Wow. Classic UK carpet, by the way. Oh, God. Fucking blue gem walls. Not for me. Not for me. Little grandma Sessel, little couch. Interesting. This is how 3 Clicks lives. Holy shit. Interesting, bro. Oh, fucking closed terrarium. Chat, I made one of these as well, bro. And it just started rotting after a month or two. And I just kept it. Closed, right? Because I was like, yeah, it's an ecosystem, right? It will recover. It did not recover. at one point. I heard always at night, like, some stuff. And I heard... And I thought it was that my window was a little bit open, that I didn't fully close. And then I went close to the fucking terrarium, and there was a little fizzy noise, like, even though it was fully closed. Jesus.
What's about map designs too seriously? Although these colours are apparently Moroccan, so...
Was a lot of pressure inside.
I've got that in my favour. So that was the A side of the map. Moving on to the middle area, this was clearly when Roger was running out of time or motivation on this project, because it's bare and boring in comparison.
That looks
stylized lighting and
that
direct.
Makes me so fucking... This is just depressing. All the fucking cables? Oh, hell no.
Works against it here, plunging the whole place into depressing shade. And again, we see this weird Shortay scaffolding, which, to its credit, would sound different, so you'd know when somebody's using it. But there are so many downsides to a massive see-through route across the map that I can only say that this was one of those ideas that was tested just to prove that it was a bad idea. And no double doors either. I'm sure they would have been added eventually, or sniping down middle would have been OP. This dull, half-finished style extends all the way across to the B side of the map, with placeholder props dotted about the site, and without there being the same level of finesse as, say, the other site. To this prototype's credit though, the idea of a Casbah biome was inspired. Sure, it looks bland and unfinished here, kind of like the ones on Mirage actually, but give it some brighter colours and some chipped edges and you're left with some really attractive backdrops for YouTube thumbnails. Again, the state of this early Source 2 version is early. Reminds me of how I used to do mapping, where I'd have a big square room for a bomb site and then I'd just litter it with stuff and hope that it would play okay. Also, I noticed the sun's direction is different to the other screenshots that we've got of this map, so maybe this is an even earlier version and that's why it's so barren. I just can't tell from the screenshots that we've got. Also, notice that there aren't any double doors here either. These probably
Bro, chat, stop using that
hand.
fucking emoji. It's actually, bro, stop. Use plink instead of bah. Okay? Please. Else we have to remove it, bro. This is getting out of hand. This is getting out of hand.
Got around to being made yet, as it makes
Where are my
no
blinkers,
sense
man?
to leave the bomb site so open and exposed from CT spawn. For example, look at this cursed sightline. It looks like we're peering through to an undrawn area of the map, but no, that's looking straight through CT spawn, past the scaffolding of Short A and right up next to the car at Long A. You could practically cover both bomb sites at the same time by standing here. Valve, please fix. But the view looking from mid up to B is a bit more inviting and I think is showing a later version of the map because the stage on site is rotated and shadow angles have changed by about 90 degrees. And all the clutter and debris here looks quite appealing, though I still think the playable version of the map that we got wins in this area, hands down. Nice that the construction theme was kept going here though. We have no view of lower B tunnels, but we do get this view of upper, again in a very unfinished state. This entrance to lower B tunnels looks super scary. This corner is clearly clipped off, but very lazily filled. But look at this, no roof. This is it. This is the bit where Roger took them up on the offer to change what had gone before, only for the roof to be added back in again for the official version. But not completely. It's been left as a sunlit section of the map, so this was one of those experiments that did pay off. And look at that, nice big reflective puddle on the route to B. Could have been a handy sound cue as well. And last we reach T-spawn and that bit that leads off to B tunnels, and this looks like a more realistic, less colourful version of what we eventually got to play on. Previously a building jutted out here in the very old version of Dust 2, but the prototype jutted it inwards instead and that's been left the same for the final version. The design of the roofs and buildings in general in this area have been kept more or less the same. I think I prefer the distant view in the prototype version though.
Nah.
Reminds me more of something from CSGO's Dust 1 map in this older style, but in a good way. It's a similar story all round from this view, only I now like the view in the playable version better. Lighting makes such a difference to the map's feel. I can't believe how dirty and damp
I prefer it the other way around. How he said it.
the prototype version looks, with its dark shadows and dirtier walls. And this view shows that the B Tunnels building has been made much bigger and more impressive for the playable version, but its entrance has been shrunk. I have no idea what's going on with this raised wall here. It looks like rushing B would have been hindered by all this junk lying about, and that this launch platform is pointing the wrong way. I'm surprised by how little I like the prototype version of this map. At some point in the past, I held it well above the other versions of Dust 2, for graphics at least, and while it may still be more detailed in some areas, the versions we got in 2017 to actually play on have a much more consistent, clean look to them, which, as much as you might complain about, probably still helps it to play better than this would. But it served its purpose. It tested out a bunch of styles and ideas, many of which can still be felt in this map, till this day, and not just on Dust 2, but also on Mirage and Scirocco. And this remains one of the best preserved
Sriracha.
records online for early Source 2 maps. It really makes me wonder what CSGO could have been were it released on the Source 2 engine instead. From what we've learned since, it's clear the engine wasn't ready for that at the time, and had they attempted it with CSGO then it might have ended up like Left 4 Dead 3, that being unreleased, dead. Let's be honest, it's hard to imagine the Counter-Strike series turning out better in another timeline than how it is in the one we're currently in. Roger has since moved on to other companies and projects,
His site showcasing a number of Back 4 Blood maps that he has helped develop from an early stage, using similar techniques to that early Dust 2 SketchUp of his. Check out his site in this video's description.
W video. That's nice. Insights from a guy that worked at Valve. That's pretty cool. Zack, zack, zack,
The
zack.
year is 2018. A new
Leave
There are 2.
3 clicks, some love.
After my
Now.
first and surprisingly adult
Now.
rated video on this
Now, if
topic,
you don't follow him already, of course, hit the subscribe button now. W fucking YouTuber. Boys, is